All rise in the courtroom for the jury coming in. There is a verdict in the case of Top Mom, charged with the murder of her 2-year-old little girl. The whole courtroom standing up out of respect for the jury as they enter in to deliver what may be one of the most important decisions they make in a lifetime. George Anthony has been in the back of the courtroom praying, his hands clasped together. He's lost his granddaughter in the most brutal way. Will he lose his daughter as well? And if so, will he have to accept that that is justice? There you see investigators, police, onlookers, all standing up as the jury
State recognized President
one by one. They are seated.
And does the defense?
Yes, sir, we do.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Have you reached the verdict?
Yes, sir.
Would you hand the verdict form to the court deputy, please?
No, I just recorded.
Will the defendant rise along with counsel? Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdicts.
In the Circuit Court for the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida, State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict is to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 5. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 6. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict is to count 7. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment. So say we all, dated Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
Madam Clerk, you may poll the jury.
Juror number 1, were these your true and correct verdicts? Pardon? Juror number 1, were these your true and correct verdicts? Not that. Were they all your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Juror number 2, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 3, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 4, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 5, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 6, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 7, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 8, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 10, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 11, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
And juror number 12, were these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Will, counsel and the defendant approach the podium? Not all the counsel, but just Representative Sample. Casey Marie Anthony, the jury of your peers, having found you not guilty as to the charge contained in count 1 of the indictment, murder in the first degree, at this time, I will adjudge you to be not guilty. As to count 2, the crime of aggravated child abuse, a jury of your peers having found you to be not guilty, the court will adjudge you to be not guilty of the crime contained in count 2. As to count 3, aggravated manslaughter of a child, a jury of your peers having found you not guilty, I will adjudge you to be not guilty of that count. As to counts 4, 5, 6, and 7, providing false information to a law enforcement officer, I will adjudge you to be guilty of those counts in order that you be fingerprinted here in open court at this time. It has to be an open court. Okay, Mr. Baez, Mr. Mason, will you be prepared to go to sentencing Thursday or Friday of this week? Okay, then we'll set sentencing Thursday at 9 a.m. in this courtroom. Okay, are there any other matters that we need to take up at this time?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on behalf of the citizens of the 9th Judicial Circuit, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation for your service as jurors. You are all residents of Pinellas County, Florida, and we came over there, met with you, questioned you, and took you away from your families for a very extended period of time. And for that, I say thank you. As I told you when I first spoke with you, in talking about jury service, that one of the most important obligations of citizenship, in my opinion, was service on a jury. I tell you, it was very important that if we believed in that constitutional provision that provides a right to trial by jury, that it was important for people to serve no matter what that sacrifice would be. As you can tell by some of the questions that some folks answered, a lot of people did not want to serve. You knew it would be a hardship, and you were candid with the attorneys. You answered all their questions, and you served. And for that, we thank you. I would also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room